Welcome back to the Football Fanatic podcast, episode 69. Actually. I was trying to skip 69 just for the awkwardness, lads. I was going to go straight to 70. Lads, great to be back. How are you all doing after the long, bitter bleakness of the international break? Dan, are you ready,
A
raring to
very
go for this
Yeah,
again?
but it was a very long one considering the stage of the season we were in. I think I know what the FA Cup mean usually wouldn't be there to be a Premier League weekend we would have had, but it was just went on forever. So yeah, delighted to have it back now. Rare to go, Merseyside derby, league to be won. So yeah, looking forward to it. But it's just nice just to have it back. Even there looking at my fantasy football, it just was the excitement was, was back super sick. So much to get back in sync with. So it'd be interesting to see how many people actually forget their Super Six this week because they're out of the routine of it. Yeah.
And guys, we're back with Howard back. He's making
Oh,
a reappearance. He's ready to
Mm-hmm.
defend Arsenal. Howard, it's nice to have you back.
yeah,
Ready to
the,
go.
the the birth of my daughter coincided with Arsenal's downfall, so it was a good coincidence, that didn't have to come on here and defend the shambles that was the title chase. So no,
That
good
really is
to good.
dedication to a cause, Howard.
Yeah,
to
yeah.
plan 9 months
Uh,
in advance for a downfall.
that's it. Yeah, all our talk at the start of the season of like, after the Dubai trip, Arsenal are going to come good. That was fell flatly on its
You
face.
had some great ones. In fairness, Arsenal are going to come good. They're going to go on a run. They'll still win the league. You had a few really good sound bites, but you nearly go back and clip them.
Really good. Yeah, we should go back and snip them and just see, exactly what exactly I said, just so I can, yeah, cry into my hands while listening to it. But no, look, I think Liverpool are deserved winners, even though I think they're running out of steam now. But I think I kind of always thought they would, but I thought Arsenal might be a bit closer to them at this stage. And unfortunately, with the way the season's gone, and you know, Arsenal lost a good few of their attacking stars, I think definitely didn't help them. I think if the Arsenal had the second half season that they had last year, they might be more in with a shout now, like than they did than they are now. Like obviously because they're 12 points back. But look, Dan, two losses next two, you'll be 6 points. Arsenal to come to Anfield, 3 points. You never know. You never know. Like I don't know.
You
Is
have
Salah
you
is Salah started eating again? Has he? Or
you have put
He
all of
is, yeah.
your
Ian finished yesterday. You're screwed,
you,
Howard. He's going to be
oh,
back
that's the
in.
that's it.
problem. Yeah,
You
that's the
put all
problem.
of your eggs in the Saka basket for the sounds of it, Howard.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He's got to get a hat trick tonight off the
Set
bench now.
pieces will be back on song, will they?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's
So,
it.
lads, look, we'll crack into it. We'll shout out to Ireland and managing to avoid the relegation playout. But
Oh,
we're here to mainly talk about the FA Cup, Premier League. So we're going to go straight into it. What did you make, Howard, of the weekend fixtures, the FA Cup quarterfinals? It was it's nice to see a mixture of teams, really, with City, I suppose, being the only one that would be a big name left. Everyone else, you kind of would be happy to see them progress and go on to win it. But we start
Yeah,
maybe with the City Bournemouth game. What did you make?
yeah.
What did you make of that?
I just
Was it a
look
tough one?
on just on the FA Cup. Like I think I think for a lot of fans, this weekend felt like even like it's nearly a new season at this stage because there was such a long break, and then you had the FA Cup because a lot of fans would support, and especially in Ireland would support, let's say Arsenal, Liverpool, United, and none of them taking part in it. So I think for them kind of fans it was like I say a lot of people didn't even watch the FA Cup to be honest, if I was being brutally honest. But I think from looking at the outside, it's a great chance if one of them teams are in it to win it because there's not a whole high caliber team left apart from City and maybe you could say argue Forest. But as you said, Mossy, it is quite refreshing to have a difference in stature of teams. Villa still in with a shout. You see Newcastle won the Carabao Cup, and now if the likes of Villa were to get a trophy as well, it would be interesting one for the history books to have a few random teams that haven't won something in a while in the mix. But overall, like the City game, like the first half, they were nearly taken to the cleaners. I thought like I felt like they could have been a couple of goals down in the first half against Bournemouth, and then in the second half, I think with the chain nearly with Haaland going off and with Marmoush going up top, they nearly looked a bit more impressive. And that young lad was it Nico O'Reilly? Is it? He
Yeah.
was yeah he was
nice.
you could see that he probably is past playing for the youth stage now. We'd probably you see him breaking into the first team, I think, next year. So look, overall, I think a comprehensive win for City in the end. But who is it? City Forest is the next round, so that'll be an interesting one. And Palace as well. Anyway, look, just focus on the City game. I think they're clear favourites to pick up the trophy. And if you look at their season, if they were to say, "Look, we won the FA Cup and got Champions League," most people would say that's a better season than the second best season in the Premier League after Liverpool. So,
yeah, it's very, very easy if they were to achieve that. You wouldn't say it's a success by City standards, but it's probably a successful season for most teams, being realistic about it. Going on to the other side of the draw, like City are going to be saying facing against Forest in the next round. Then, Forest had a tough enough game against Brighton. What did you make of? I suppose in the end it went to penalties. It wasn't the most amazing game to watch, but what did you make of it?
Yeah, no, I didn't. I heard it was a bit of a snore fest from what I kind of read for maybe the first half. I think it was one of them. It probably was on paper a 50-50 game anyway, wasn't it? Brighton have been coming into it in good form. And again, like sure, look, penalty shootouts can go either way. But like Forest were a fierce test for City just a couple of weeks ago, as were Bournemouth. So it's not an easy draw for City. If anything, to be honest with you, I'd argue that it's maybe a harder draw playing Forest for City than the likes of Villa, who come out and play and leave more space. Like Forest will be resolute; it'll be hard to break down. And I take what Howard said there. I'd be kind of in that camp as well. Like when Marmouche come on, it's more attractive to watch. Even though Haaland missed a heap of chances in the first
yeah,
half, he just looked so silky. But like, it has definitely, I think, breathed a bit of life into the cup competitions this year with Newcastle winning the Carabao, and then like if anyone other than City were to lift the FA Cup, it'd be very good for that competition as well. And like when you look at the games around the weekend, where as you said, Howard, like our teams might have been in it, but it was intriguing to kind of see who were going to get the trips. Who was going to get the trips to Wembley? Some of the teams that are left in it and never won anything at all. So it's kind of it's going to be interesting. Yeah, like the Villa Palace one, I don't think there's too much in that. You'd say Villa would be slight favourites, but there's a weird kind of thing around Wembley as well. You just wouldn't know how either of them could go. And would you love to
like
see like a Forest Villa final? I think, or
yeah,
a
like
Forest
that.
Palace final would be deadly.
Like that slime ball. What's his Hertzler? That guy from that manager from Brighton, up to his old tricks again.
Oh
He
yes,
here he
his
kept
nickname, the Slime Ball.
yeah
Yeah,
the slime ball. Well, is that how we were? I think maybe that was just me. Yeah.
that was
No,
definitely
but
just you, Howard.
I think we all agreed that he didn't have the most likable personality. I think, and maybe face potentially. But no, he was out saying that he came out saying that he for the penalty shootout he picked them and no one else had a choice. So like
Right.
if they missed, it was his own responsibility, which I thought was interesting. He didn't ask people if they wanted to take a penalty or not. It was like, you're taking it. So interesting to see the psychology behind that, like to see if that actually would have impacted the misses that they had in the shootout in the end. Like,
Hmm. It runs on though. I know they play United this weekend as well, but they're just a solid outfit. But I did see, not sure whether Wood will be fit, Gibbs White. They've a couple of doubts, and they're probably key players for them, but they're just a solid outfit. I think if I asked me now who would like to win, I think it probably would be Forest, just in case of the season they've had.
yeah,
I've been so impressed with them. I'd like them to probably go on and lift it from here.
Yeah, well, I suppose it's something tangible to show from a successful season. Like
Yeah.
5 years time, like, oh, we got Champions League. It's great and all, and you get the
Where's your medal?
prestige, but where's your medal? Like, yeah. So I think there is something tangible for there. So
Yeah.
yeah, I can see that. And Villa be a team again. I like they've spent a lot of money, and I don't really know how I feel about it as a United fan because Rashford got his goal there after 4 months and like looked pretty sharp and he's like
He's still
running
good.
back. He looks good. He's
Yeah.
been running back. He's had a lot of assists for
he's
Asensio, and
been
I'm kind
running
of like,
back. That's it.
yeah,
Oh, he's good. He's
He's
been running back. That's
he's
not
been
like
running,
Rashford.
moving.
that is
He's
a
been moving. Yeah.
massive improve. That is a massive improvement compared to
Mm.
what I was seeing there. But like he kind of at the same time, I do like Emery. I like what he's done
What?
there. I think they play nice football. And they looked very impressive in the game. Now I will say they have a poor record against Palace this season. They've lost 3 out of the last 4 against them, and they lost 4-0 in Selhurst Park not too long ago. So it will be an interesting semi final. to see, because it's worth like for any set of fans really out of the two of them, it's going to mean so much to them to
Yeah,
get to the next to get to the final in Wembley. Like so, yeah, it's going to be interesting going forward. But look, we'll turn our attention, I suppose, to what's coming. I suppose maybe just before we go in, Dan, we said to let you have a speak. How are you feeling
yeah.
about all the rumors coming out about Trent and looking pretty more and more
I
likely that he's definitely going to
yeah, I think I
the
meant yeah, I think I mentioned here before, and I would have put in the group there, like the worst kept secret in English football. It must be
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
because we've talked on this in the podcast on several occasions, and I was always of the opinion that of the three, he's pretty much going. And I think when they bid for him in January, the writing was surely on the wall. Then they're trying to give Liverpool a few pound here, but like look, I don't. I suppose I'm not from Liverpool, so I don't get. He's got a fair amount of flack on social media, be it. It'd be interesting to see what reception he gets. If he, well, it sounds as if he'll get back in the team at some point, recover from his injury. They don't need to specify as to how long he'll be out for, but it'd be interesting to see what sort of reception he get. But like, I'm not that not that fussed. Of course, it would be nice to have got a fee for him. And as you think, as I kind of thought about it, I'd remember said before, like if Liverpool had got 70 or 80 million, that probably would have softened the blow. But the reality probably is when you look at Madrid's form in regards to what they've done the last couple of years, they probably, if it was the fee was 70 or 80 for Trent, they probably wouldn't have went for him, to be honest. I don't think now that I thought about it, I think that kind of whole free
no, they wouldn't have done
Basel
it.
rule. No, they wouldn't have, I don't think in hindsight. So really that whole argument of we should have got a fee from him, like I don't think Madrid would have paid that. I don't think
No.
that move would have been on. So
Would you, Dan, would you have taken the 20 million now or whatever they offered? Like, do you look back
now,
and you're like,
or
oh God? Well, like, no, but like in January, like, if you, in
no,
hindsight, would you have said, if you knew he was going, like he is
yeah,
now, like, would you have just taken it? Like, you
it,
didn't really need him, did you? Well, I suppose Champions League or still in Champions League, yeah, maybe.
yeah. Interesting enough, I no, I don't think so because I think at that stage, sure, again, there was
League
there
wasn't
was
finished,
quad
yeah.
we were talking quad talk back in January.
Yeah,
So and even in regards the money that they would have recouped versus having them in your side, like there's no value in selling them for 20 million. But I do not get kind of the amount of I've even seen some people who I know quite well who have been dishing out abuse of on social media, and I just think it's like. But firstly, we know that this has been happening, so I don't get like where people are like, "Oh my god, it's happening." I fucking knew
yeah,
this was
yeah.
happening. Like he's never once come out. Salah and Van Dijk both come out pretty much and said they want to stay. Trent has never come out once and said I want to stay. What Trent has done was is he went on Sky Sports a couple of months ago and said I want to win the Ballon. So like you know what I mean? He was
Yeah.
given an option of do you want to be Liverpool captain? Whatever the 3 or 4 options he was given, and it was I want to win the Ballon d'Or. So I don't get the background that he's getting. I don't think it's fair. I understand the frustration that Liverpool are doing well. They look like they're going to win the league. They have a good side there, and he's a potential captain because wherever Van Dijk ends up in regards if he stays or goes, he will be a future Liverpool captain. He's vice captain at the moment. But yeah, for me, Liverpool have lost much better players and bigger players than Trent.
Mm.
And I'm not saying he'd be easy given his quality, but I'm not kind of sitting here going, he's a bastard. How could he do this to us? I'm looking at it going, he's won everything at Liverpool. He's 26 years of age.
Yeah.
It is to win the Ballon d'Or and wants to go and move and go to another club. In fairness, he's going to Madrid, who are going to be challenging for La Liga's over the next 26. You could say in the next years, Madrid will probably win 3 or 4 Champions Leagues. You know what I mean? So I can see the fact that he's won everything and wants to move on, and I just don't see it as big of a thing as some sections of fans be completely dishing out to him. But then I don't, I suppose I don't have that Liverpudlian part of me that he was at the club since the age of 6, and how he's turned his back on, and there is a kind of, I suppose, a real kind of a cult mentality amongst the Scousers of you're one of our own, and there's murals everywhere, and that you can't, how could you do this to us? I mean, you look at the form book, I suppose, and look at the players that have done that, like McManaman, Owen, what I mean, held in anywhere near the same regard as other good, great Liverpool players. So that's my take on it. I kind of just feel it's a bit blown a bit out of proportion. Some people say again this season, and I just don't get that either because it's bizarre. If he is fit, he'll be playing. And I'm just the only other thing I'll say on it is that had this feeling that the PR machine of Liverpool would never let anything kind of be said around the other two lads' contracts because it would bring and highlight the Trent one. And if you're interested enough, if you follow actually the PR, the thing came out in all the media around Trent and the deal being done. And within about a day and a half, 2 days later, there was stuff all over Sky that Sal is closer than ever to signing for Liverpool. So it's just really interesting. Is this being a nice PR move to try and kind of push the narrative around? Okay, well that's Trent, but like positives, or was this always in the pipeline? Van Dijk has come out today as well and said that he'll have some news in the next couple of weeks as well. So I still anticipate that the two lads will be signing on, and I actually have a feeling that that could have been on the cards for a while. Or get really into it or talk about it because it would highlight the trend thing. And look what's after happening. If that had happened, say, a couple of weeks ago, you said Howard and Arsenal were on our coattails and kind of blown up, it'd be a bigger deal as well, I think, even within the dressing room than it probably is now as well. Anyway, that's my rambled enough about it, but that's my whole take on it. So,
Howard, are you along the same lines as me where you think it's like,
Yeah,
I just don't get it. I think it's absolute madness. The man wants to try something new. Let him off. I don't get why we
yeah.
should
I
erase
look.
his history.
I think there's only the few head cases like Jamie Carragher out there that are that are shouting the other way. Like I kind of I find it hard to listen to Jamie Carragher when he says stuff like that, and then he's trying to commentate like in an unbiased approach in games. Like it's just like you can
Also, the
clearly,
fact he's an Everton fucking fan when he grew up and he jumped
yeah,
ship
like
and has
that's
no issue with that, but it's
yeah.
fine for someone else to do it.
What is that all about? No, I find it. Yeah, I find that whole rhetoric of like, oh, he's losing his legend status. Not like if I was him, I'm 26. I've been in Liverpool, great city and everything, but like, you have the heat and how do you say the luxury of playing with the likes of Bellingham and Mbappe and all that over in Madrid in like a kind of cushier league that is all about a bit of flair that he has in abundance. Like, it just, you know, I heard another story. He's gone over because he wants a Spanish girlfriend. I heard that one too. So he's
do
gone
I
over.
do.
So if he's gone over for love as well, add that into the mix as well. Like that's another good
Yeah,
reason
I think
that
I
he
think as
should
well.
be there.
I do think as well that we'd have a different conversation here. Like again, because he's they keep referring to Gerrard, right? So often in regards to Trent, but like Gerrard didn't play in a team anywhere near the caliber that Trent has played in. But also, if Gerrard had won everything at Liverpool, I think there would potentially Gerrard would have left. If you think about it,
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah, yeah,
fair,
yeah.
fair enough. I understand that Gerrard came out in his book, and I remember he said like that winning that Champions League with Liverpool would have been better than winning whatever he said 10 cups or trophies with Chelsea or whatever or Madrid or whatever. But like I just think it'd be a different conversation. He's actually won everything that there is to win with Liverpool. He has the highest assist record as well in the Premier League, which I actually don't think will ever be beaten. To be honest with you, when you look at it for a defender, so yeah, I'm in the same view with you. I just think it's not fair to be comparing him to Gerrard either. I don't think that's fair.
Yeah.
No,
I think it's interesting because I don't know whether he'll start in Madrid because I think Danny Carvajal fully fit and Valverde at playing at the right back is nearly better than offers more and is a much better defender than what Trent would be.
yeah.
But
I'd
it'll
be
be
I'd be
interesting to see.
interested to see what impact his absence will cause next year with Liverpool. Like I think I know he's a player that like okay everyone says he can't defend like and he's lacking in defensive moments and he didn't get picked for England World Cup or whatever he got dropped or he wasn't starting or whatever it was but because he couldn't defend like he's so special on the ball when the chemistry he has with Salah like is you can see even fancy football about the assists and everything gets like he does do classy things a lot of the time but
Mm.
then this other defensive thing is always being played as well. So I would just be interested to see, right, if to go for Bradley next year and Bradley plays right back, defensively sound, how much will that take away from the likes of your Salahs and stuff when they go forward? Like, it'll be interesting to see. Maybe he's more of a luxury player, Trent, and you might notice his loss as much. So
Uh, yeah,
I'd be interested to see that. You probably know more about it than Dan, like watching them every week. Like,
I just think that under Klopp he had more of an influence than he does under Slot. I just think in wing
okay,
backs in general, I don't think there's as much of an influence. Like if you even look at Trent, I can't think off the top of my head now. Trent probably only has a handful of assists this season. Has he even got six? I know he was injured for a bit, but in the league I'm talking about, I don't even think he actually has that many assists. Now look, he has had some very, very
He has them
good
balls
performance.
though, then
Yeah,
diagonal
I know,
balls
yeah,
that
yeah. I'm
like
not
second
kind of.
assist or whatever, like
Yeah,
them.
yeah. He has that in the locker, and I think McAllister is probably the only other one in the side that kind of has
Mm.
that kind of as you said, that flair that kind of can pick a pass from nowhere. So you do lose that, of course you do. I don't think it's as much of a maybe as big of a as a thing that it would have been maybe the way the Klopp would have played. But it's a
Yeah,
massive
fair
blow.
enough.
Like, there's no point saying it's not. Like, it's a, Conor Bradley is a good defender, and again, he's only a young lad. It's hard to you're not going to put him even in compare him with Trent. But like anytime Bradley's played, he's done well, and there's no doubt that Liverpool will buy a right back in the summer as well.
Yeah.
So. But you are going to lose that. Of course, you're going to lose that for Salah or Diaz. Them diagonal balls are outrageous. But again, I suppose like everything, Liverpool have lost, as I said before, lost better players than Trent, and it's all about trying to adapt. And Slot will have an opportunity to bring in his own player,
Yeah.
there. So
Yeah. Fair enough. Yeah.
yeah,
Well, look, once we're talking about Liverpool, Dan, we'll keep it going and we'll jump to Wednesday night's game.
yeah,
Merseyside derby. What are
tough
your
one.
expectations for this? It's going to be a tough one, and Howard and myself will be shouting for everything.
And Jamie Carragher.
And Jeremy.
Um, it is it is a tough one because Everton proved in the game not that long ago. Like there's definitely a good bit of juice in this one, given the way the game a few weeks ago ended. In particular with Slash getting his marching orders and few of the refereeing decisions throughout the game for both sides. To be honest with you, it had everything. That game it was probably one of the best games this season. I don't know if you'd agree with me that there was so far in the Premier League. So I'd imagine tomorrow night will be similar. And it won't be easy. Like Everton are a solid side, like otherwise. And I always find with Liverpool, and maybe it's not just Liverpool, but first game back after a break, they're always usually rusty.
Yeah.
No, you can't afford that when you're playing Everton. Given what they brought to the table in the last few Merseyside derbies, like you have to match them for strength, endeavour. Like Liverpool obviously have the better quality players, but like the application that Moyes has got out of them is excellent. So it's no way near a home run. If you were to look at the record that Liverpool have, you'd say it's a home run, but against Everton in their derbies at Anfield. But I anticipate it to be a difficult game, and again, the crowd can turn very quickly if Everton were to go one up. I think so. It's very Liverpool need to start on the front foot. They've been slow in a few games recently as well in the first
Would
half, so
you
they
would
they
you
kind of
worry
need to
about
rectify
that
that.
then, their form at the moment? Do you think they're not going to hit the heights that they had earlier on the season? Would you worry that they'll obviously win the league and that, but they might when the pressure is off now nearly they mightn't perform as well, or they're tired. Do you think that form that they've shown maybe in the Carabao Cup and all that will continue for the rest of the season?
Yeah, I don't know because I think that people read into that. And if you want to call that like Liverpool's blip, maybe if you want to call it that, because we've been waiting for it all season. Well, I think people have read a bit too much into it. Like, I'm the first one to admit that like I was wrong. Like PSG were a lot better than I give them credit for. And probably now I don't know where the second favourites behind Madrid probably to win the Champions League. So like they've lost a two-legged affair there against arguably one probably the most quality sides in Europe at the moment. And like Newcastle are a good side. So I don't kind of buy into the whole thing that Liverpool have suddenly fallen off a cliff or the form has fallen off a cliff.
Maybe, do you know what, Dan?
But
It's probably Salah, really. I think it's maybe people are saying, oh, well, Salah's fallen off in the month of March, that they're kind of
yeah,
they're
yeah.
linking to
Ramadan,
Liverpool then, like, you know what I
Ramadan.
mean?
But I definitely agree with you that they're not as and I think we all said it in the first half of the season that eventually like Slot, his new manager come to the league with a new system, but that at some point like they would be kind of found out a bit, like that's
Yeah,
natural that happens. So I'd imagine there is part of that. Um, I wouldn't say tired. I know they were definitely in the Newcastle game. They were off it from minute one, but in general, I wouldn't get buy into the whole thing that they're tired or that they shouldn't. That definitely wouldn't be an excuse. But they definitely aren't at the same level that they were the first half of the season. But then at the same time, they've only lost one game in the league. So like how can you kind of criticize a side that were in the first of April or second of April that they've only lost one Premier League game? So I
yeah,
don't kind
fair
of buy
enough.
into that part, but I do agree with you that when Salah doesn't play, when you look at the numbers this season, it speaks for itself. I couldn't even get over it. Like Nunez's numbers are actually nearly better than some of the other players that have been playing. You take it, say, regards Nunez's career versus Gakpo's Diaz. We actually look at the numbers. Like Nunez's are like better than some of theirs. in their time frame that they've been at Liverpool, and you're kind of looking at it going, you know, Diaz, Gakpo's probably the only other one really of the front players, and Liverpool have been renowned for having such a good front six, you would say. But like Gakpo's probably the only one who's actually surmounted decent numbers. Like Jota has been miles off it since he came back from injury, and Diaz has started the season well, but his numbers have
Yeah.
dwindled
Just
dramatically. And
shows
then
you
you've got
how good Salah's been, really, doesn't it?
oh,
Just
no,
shows you.
absolutely. I no doubt about that. And when you look at that, I think there will be questions in the summer when with Slot having a year under his belt as to whether one or two of them, maybe the likes of Diaz, talk as he hasn't signed a new deal and wants to move to Spain. You know, whether or not he'd move on, whether or not he fancies Joshua, I'd be interested to know as well whether he actually rates him. So, anyway, I'm kind of going off on a thing there, but I definitely feel that tomorrow night's game is like, of course, it's a must win. They're all must win at this stage of the season, but I just think it'll be tricky. I don't think like this is a walk in the park at all, and I wouldn't be overly shocked if it's like a real nail biter and Liverpool maybe scrape a win. I think they'll win, but I don't think it'll be. I'm not expecting Liverpool now to just suddenly go and give Everton a hockey, and based on the way I've seen Everton perform over the last 8-9 weeks, like they've been excellent. They're probably been one of the better, like say, best sides of the league, but they're probably not far off. Are they? Everton, like in this regards, like solid endeavour, grinding out results, like they've been excellent, haven't they?
Since Moyes taken over, the record has been
Yeah.
pretty impressive, and they've been a serious upturn in form. They're battling it out with ourselves for 13th and 14th position.
I heard an interesting one today actually. I didn't realize we weren't listening to the fan debate podcast that will come out today.
I only heard some of it. I didn't hear it all.
Yeah, but just like
Oh, the overlap, is it?
yeah, but it's the overlap, but it's under the fan debate. But your man, what do you call the financial expert they had in, but like he referenced that, and in fairness, it has gone under the radar. Like United spent was it 250 million in the summer. Just that was just something I was like,
I wouldn't have said
Jesus.
it's gone under the radar, like, as in I've heard that quoted at me, like Ten Hag spent 250 million, and
I
they
forget.
should
I forgot though.
spent
Anyway,
250 million, and they're this crap. Yeah,
Yeah. Anyway,
yeah, they spent
yeah.
plenty. Howard, let's say the dream happens, Everton pull one out of the bag.
The
Have you
Mossy,
any?
the hope.
Have you any like? There's rumors that Saka, is he back in training, or do you reckon he'll be making the matchday squad, or what's the
Oh,
feelings going
he's
into
on the
it?
bench
Two
today.
players
Yeah,
back.
yeah, he's on the bench. Yeah, he's ready to go according to Arteta. Look, I think all eyes are on Madrid and trying to get him up to speed for them two games. Again, like for me, the season went when Havertz got injured. I know people might laugh at that, but like once our focal point up front, I think even when Mary was doing a job, but once that focal point went up front and Jesus and Havertz were out, I just felt like that was it. But in relation to Arsenal's season is going to come down to the Champions League. Like playing Madrid is in these games is what you want to do. You want to be on the stage. You want to be watching these games. Like we qualify for the Champions League to play in these kind of games. So it's going to be exciting to watch. And if they do pull it out of the bag, it'll be another. It'll be another step. Get to the same final then, and like see how to go then. But it's just if we were to knock Madrid out, it would be. I think that would be in itself kind of a nice experience to have for the season. But overall, look, we all had big hopes for Arsenal to win the league. I think they were favourites coming into it. I think in general now, maybe if Liverpool's whole front line were assassinated in the morning, maybe we might stand a chance. But I can't see anything happening on that front, I'm afraid. But I think it's still important to pick up the points though, and stay in that second place spot and keep going
You
and
still
trying
reckon I
to.
get that? I know you were saying a few weeks ago. I know that they won't be looking at
Yeah,
top four.
to be honest, like they're lucky that that Marino has worked out to a point. I still don't think they've been great with him up front. Like they just lack so much creativity up top without Saka. Martinelli coming back as well. Like Trossard's fallen off as well at the same time. Like it's been a bit of a hard watch, to be honest. It's been very boring. Very boring to watch them with that setup. And maybe all season you could argue they haven't hit them heights, and they haven't been that exciting as they have in the last few seasons. But Yeah, I think the top four thing, there was a couple of games there that like City drop points and stuff like that, and Chelsea drop points. We're lucky that the teams behind us aren't. There's no one really going for it
Back.
to catch us. So that definitely helps. But you know, I I don't think I was completely reactionary when I said that like we're going to be fighting for top four, because I knew once our forward line was gone that we're going to struggle to score goals. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you're just going to get nil-alls, or you're going to score. Even we beat Leicester by a goal. Like, Marina scored last minute. Like you can just tell like this is the performance level at the moment, and like, how you gonna, how you need to stay in the second spot, and it's going to be tough to even do that. So um overall though, like it'll be, Liverpool have just been outstanding this season. You can't really, just have to take your hat out to them. They just wanted it more. They've had their same team out there every game. Everyone, all the, like, Gravenberch's been a revelation. Salah's had the season of his career. Like, you can't, that happens. It happens. Like, I think from Arsenal's point of view, if we had our players, had a few more players fit, we could be closer. I don't think we would be winning though. I think if we had a full fit squad, we'd be maybe 3 or 4 points off them at this stage.
Yeah.
But I don't think we'd be ahead of Liverpool this stage. I think Liverpool have just been so good. I think they've just been so good. I think what they do so great is they're used to being in a title challenge with all the City ones, and they have the likes of Van Dijk and Salah, and they know what it is to be under pressure to get the wins. Do you know what I mean? There's like, they could be 1 or 2 goals down, but there's still 10 minutes left in the game, and they're gonna pull it out of the bag because they just have that experience. So I think, it's been more credit to Liverpool, and obviously a few things have gone against Arsenal. But I think in the grand scheme of things, it would have been tough to catch Liverpool anyway on their form this season. You know.
And you reckon, like, Fulham this evening isn't exactly a straightforward game either. Like, Fulham have had a really good season. Probably, look, they'd be disappointed with the way they went out with the FA Cup, but
Yeah, I'm
it's
not,
kind
not
of
sure
not
they're fighting
nothing.
for much though, Moss. Like, I think, like, from
They're
like,
they're on 45 points. They're 3 points off top, 4 points off top four. Like,
are they? Well, fair enough. I
yeah,
didn't realize they were that close. Like, I didn't. I thought their loss to Palace there in the FA Cup was very poor. I didn't think the defensively they were that good. I'm just wondering, like, have they hit their peak already this season, and now they're starting to drop off? But they're a decent outfit. Like, I think
No, it's not.
I'll go into this game. I think the Emirates will be buoyant with the fact that Saka's back. I think I'll go into the game and I'll enjoy watching. I don't think it'll be, sometimes you're watching your team, you're like, oh God, I hope to win, and you'll be nervous. I think with the circumstances in the league over now, like, it's, you kind of, and you're a few points, in second place, you're a bit of a cushion there. You kind of, there is a bit of niceness to watching it and not being like, oh God, if we lose this, we're screwed. Like, you know what I mean? Because I think,
your jeopardy has been removed a
yeah,
little
and
bit. Like, yeah, yeah.
what was annoying me in the Liverpool thing is, like, we were hanging in there, and, like, it would have been so much easier if we just got, like, the hope was dashed away from us a bit sooner. But yeah,
It was
hopefully
like every
Liverpool won't,
time.
like, lose 2 games now and just try and drag in that hope again or
It,
whatever.
it was like every time though that, like, Liverpool gave a chance to Arsenal, they didn't
Yeah,
take
they
it though.
didn't
It was
take
like
it,
there was several.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's about three times. Yeah, 3 times they did it.
yeah.
I think they drew each time, Arsenal. A couple of the games, I think, like, the couple of games you could look at it like that. The Saliba, I think the Brighton game was a big one. When the Saliba, the head clash with the penalty. I thought, like, there's little things like that.
Mhm.
Like, you just need them things to go your way, and it just didn't have them little kind of leg ups to get in within punching range of Liverpool and put the pressure on them. But to be honest, Dan, I think even if the pressure, it went down to 6 points or 5 points, it's like Liverpool are just, like, they're not like other teams. They're a bit like City in that way, that they're so used to it, and I wouldn't have seen them crumble like they would have maybe
Yeah,
back when the Gerrard slip and all that. Like, I think
but
if
yeah,
you're playing that Liverpool team, you might be able to get under the skin a bit. But I think this team really thrive on pressure. And I think that's, it's down to one man. I think that's Van Dijk. Really, he's the man that keeps
yeah.
the cool head. Like,
I'd agree with you up until, I don't know if you watched the Liverpool Wolves game, and I would agree with you this season up until that. But that was the first chink or crack that I seen where the stadium was, there were 2-0, were they, no, what was it, 2-0 up? Lucky to be 2-0 up, and then Cunha scored a good goal to get it back to 2-1. But even before Cunha scored, Wolves were all over them. Crowd were, like, silent. And then
Yeah,
once they went 2-1, like Liverpool couldn't string a pass together for like the last 15 minutes. Literally,
yeah.
that's not even an exaggeration. So it's like, as you, I still think that if you were closer, and
You might
given
have
the
put
fact
pressure on
that
them.
I think it's natural in a tight race, regardless of how many you won. Maybe City being the exception, maybe, but like it would have been interesting to see, and it could still be interesting, as you said, if Liverpool go and drop points early on in the next couple of games, then it suddenly is 12 goes to 6. Is it 6? You said if it went to 6, or
Yeah.
like again. That of course plays a factor, but I just think the 12 is a cushion. Like, yeah, it is a cushion, isn't it?
The
And the
cushion,
goal
all right,
difference,
Dan, the cushion.
and the goal difference, and the fact
If
that
12
Arsenal have
isn't
to
a cushion, Dan, I don't know what the fuck it is.
yeah,
Like,
yeah. Arsenal have to come to Anfield and win,
Well, to be
and
honest, like that
so
could that would I would look at as a positive from an Arsenal point of view. If you had to go to Anfield and if you had to get a win
yeah,
there,
yeah.
like I if you told me that we were 6 points, well, maybe 5 points behind, and we had to go to Anfield, yeah, the goal difference, like, well, unless you go down
Yeah.
6 points, the goal difference went away at that stage. Who knows? But like I think, look, it would be a different story if we were talking about your forward line that Arsenal had last year with Havertz, Saka, Martinelli, and Trossard playing well. Like, it would have been. I
Yeah.
think it would have been a bit different story then chasing you. But with this stage, with a midfielder who's ever played up front in his life, leading the line, like it's hard to see. Like,
It's like Fellaini all over again. Remember that when United had that
yeah, yeah, yeah.
period where they had Fellaini up front,
Jesus,
yeah,
I
just
don't
daunting
fucking
there.
knock it. He did a decent enough job for us up front, so he did. Um, it's funny listening to you, Howard, go on about Arsenal and the lament in your voice as you talk about what could have been or what might have been. It's there's genuine build up there of like, oh, it should have been our year. But look,
He
we'll
didn't
jump.
even roar the he didn't even roar the refs, Moss. He didn't even go VAR or fucking. He did said nothing.
I said things didn't go our way. I kind of
Yeah,
meant,
yeah.
yeah, there were,
That's a real father. That's the father in you coming
yeah,
out of
yeah, yeah, yeah.
the
Matured,
responsible man.
matured. No, no. I think, look, we all, like, the Arsenal fans, I think, all hope that this is going to be our year. Especially when City dropped off, and, like, City have Haaland injured now for most of the season now, so it's like all the pieces will fall into place. But it's just, look, you have to hold your hands up, like, Liverpool have just been like, so good, like, and maybe they got so far ahead so early that they didn't they had that cushion all the time, so they didn't need to feel that pressure, maybe, Dan. And then, that could be, but I think, like, Arsenal, I think, on the basis of play, and on some games that we dropped points where I felt we were unfortunate, I think we probably deserved to be closer, but it just didn't work out. And then with the injuries on top of that, it was just game over. Like, that would be my thinking.
There's there's
And Howard
one.
Webb, that he's the main problem.
Yeah,
There you go.
I
You
was
got what you
actually
wanted, guys.
I was waiting for you to bring up the PGML. I thought we got a long time without bringing up the PGML. Listen, I want to jump to one more game, I suppose, or two more games. We have the United Forest tonight. I don't have a lot to say about it. I think Dorgu's back from injury, which might give us a bit more of an attacking threat on the left. He looks, he's a serious
He's looked
engine.
decent. Yeah,
Yeah, he's a serious engine getting up and down, and you can see what having a proper wing back adds to Amarin's system.
Yeah,
We're going to be questioned off midfield in terms of it'll be Casemiro and who's in
Ugarte. Looking at
Ugarte.
here,
So it'll be
Ugarte.
a
Yeah.
workman like midfield, I'd say, with hopefully looking with Casemiro to ping a few crossfield balls because that is one of the strength of his. And they have been tweaking the system to kind of get more, I suppose, to complement that Casemiro's strength. So we'll see how it goes, and hopefully Bruno Fernandes keep up his good form, and the impact of 120 minutes on Forest might be on our favour a little
True.
bit. With Wood out as well, but we'll. I'm not overly optimistic, to be honest. Based on league form, they're 10 places ahead of us, 11 places ahead of us. They should be beating us realistically. I'm hoping we can kind of keep up the solid form we've got, make it hard for them, and maybe nick one. If it goes that way. But being realistic, I'm not too convinced that that's what's going to happen. But if we're trying to build up a bit of momentum going into Europa League, we kind of need to be picking up wins here and there. So we'll
Elanga's
see how
going
it
to
goes.
score, Massey, isn't he?
Sorry.
Elanga's
Elanga's
going to
going to
score, isn't he?
Elanga's going to score, yeah. And then he'll do that stupid thing where he pretends not to celebrate, where he really wants to celebrate,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
everyone knows he should just celebrate because he's clearly a Forest player. But
yeah.
yeah, it's yeah. Look, United have a tough run of fixtures coming up. They've got Forest, they've got City, they've got Newcastle away. They've got tough enough run if for us to make any sort of inroads up the table. Realistically, we'd need to start picking up points. And Forest, we lost 3-2 to them at home, and they were a much better team. We'll wait and see. I'm hoping that the impact at 120 minutes and uh, some maybe celebrations may mean Forest are a little bit off top form, and United might be able to nick them something, but we'll see how it goes. The other kind of standout game from the midweek fixtures this week is Chelsea Spurs, as Chelsea kind of try and find a bit of form again and keep the push going. They're currently sitting in fourth, but like with the money they've spent, the form that they had at the start of the year, it's it's kind of a damn squid. You wouldn't be surprised if this was a boring game or Spurs even managed to nick it. But it's very important for Chelsea, I think, and with all the upheaval, the fan unrest, that they put up a performance, I think, Dan. And like if they can start to navigate their way back into kind of more consistent run of form, they might be able to push even for third. Behind Spurs. What do you make of it? Do you reckon with their injury list, etc., do they have a chance?
I just think in the more that we were talking about, the impact that Salah has had on Liverpool this season. Once Palmer there after Christmas kind of went off the radar, you've seen that a lot that what's left is quite average. Like they are crying out for a centre forward. Jackson then of course got injured as well, which doesn't really put them somewhat in the same category as Arsenal, where they actually had nobody to really lead the line. I think they're playing Neto and false nine there in some games, which isn't his position. They messed around with that a bit, but like Palmer just has been off it. And I think that it's very much been a Palmer and bust for Chelsea. And you can see that with all the money that they spent, that they're still quite short in several areas of the pitch. So I just don't have the massive amount of faith in them. I waited for them to kick back into gear. And I haven't seen anything yet to kind of show me that, they're going to kind of go back like to the Chelsea the first half of the season. They were joy to watch. Palmer was on fire and they were going about their business, and we all talked about that this was going to be their biggest challenge was going to be Chelsea, and I don't see anything like they aren't like they could end up out of the Champions League, which would be mad to think given the first half of the season that they wouldn't finish the Champions League spot. But they're not. I'm not convinced at all, to be honest with you.
But what will the question is, what will they sell if they lose the Champions League? They sold the women's team. They sold all the hotels. What else is there to sell? Like
What's left?
What's left? Maybe Todd Bowley's I don't know, Nike shoes or something. They're gonna have the his expensive pair of Nike Nike runners that he owns. But no, they've recorded a profit of 128 million there just there yesterday from their books, and they reckon they reckon 150 million value to put on the women's team, which people have argued is ludicrous. So like they just keep
Because they are
spinning.
the best team in the women's league by a mile. Like they're
That's true. They are, but they have the revenue per year for the women's team is 11 million. It's not like, if you think of that,
yeah.
like 150 million, like you could buy some of the Premier League clubs for that nearly. Do you know what I mean? You wouldn't be far off that buying the likes of whatever, I don't know, like a Southampton or a Bournemouth. I don't know how much they cost now, but to think that the Chelsea women's team is probably worth that amount, it's just like it's just moving money around so that they can pass PSR rules.
Can I just I'm just looking at what they have left, and it's very interesting. You see like where they are in the league versus like some of the games they have. Like they have to go their way forward in particular has been horrendous. Have to go away to Brentford, right? I don't know if you're looking at there, but away to Brentford, away to Fulham, away to Newcastle, and away to Forest. Like that's some of their away games, and then like their home games, they're at home against Liverpool. Fair enough, at that stage potentially a title. Liverpool might have a whole lot left to play for. But like Everton have to come to Stamford Bridge. United have to come to Stamford Bridge now as well. Like I just think when you look at their fixtures and what they have left, I know they have a home game against Ipswich. The Spurs one is quite a big game when you look at the other fixtures that they have to come. I think as you said, Massey, maybe to try maybe kickstart something going. But I definitely see them sitting fourth there at the moment. If you ask me now, like Brighton, Newcastle in particular, are and City, are all I think in better form or potentially in a better shape than Chelsea are at present. So it's kind of I very much think Palmer's back in training. I read today, so they're talking whether or not he'd be back, but it seems like he will be back.
Well, let's be honest. Like, who do the three of us here want Chelsea to get Champions League?
No,
no,
or City. Neither of
Well,
them.
Newcastle and Brighton all the way, or
Yeah,
Villa or
yeah,
someone like that.
yeah.
Yeah,
Do you know what ended
Brighton
up
are
happening,
in it.
Chelsea? Though, you know what ended up happening is they'll finish sixth, and then City get deducted about 50 points,
Yeah,
and they'll end
yeah.
up by default getting into the Champions League. But no,
You could be
I
right,
don't
you
have
know.
faith. I don't have faith anyway, Mass, and I think Spurs actually are getting some players back, as well. Like they have slowly but surely started to get players back into their side, and yeah, they got a big result, I think, against was it Alkmaar there as well to get over the line in that game as well. So, and I do think for both Spurs and United, really, like the Premier League is so secondary now, though, really, isn't it? When you look at what's
Yeah.
left and what's
It's
to play for,
100% Europa League. And it
yeah,
is because it's
no,
your only hope for getting Champions League football, which financially is so important to maybe
Oh
not as
yeah,
yeah,
much
that's
as
true.
Spurs
Yeah.
because they're so profitable for United. It's massively important.
yeah.
Um, it leaves in there's a couple of other games obviously on, but they're kind of standout ones, and we'll keep on top of it. Dan, we might jump on to our fantasy football. How's our league getting on after?
Well, I
Um,
can't get into it at present because I think it was updated. I don't know if you can. I tried getting into it
oh
there.
right. So
But
Dan,
sure,
are you in second? Is that right?
I think it was second. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
Paul Clark
Yeah,
has jumped in
you're a wild
first.
card then.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. So basically, anyway, nothing has happened since the last time we would have spoke about it. Only that there was a few big things that happened. So a lot of people have brought in Haaland. Haaland is now out for 7 or 8 weeks. He was one of the most transferred in players in the last couple of weeks.
Oh god.
So he is now out. But it was a big opportunity for people to play the wild card. I have played mine.
Did you like as in this week?
Yeah, I played it this week. Yeah, yeah. So
Yeah,
my wild
same as
card
that.
is
I did the
active.
same. Yeah.
And it seems a lot of people with Haaland's injury in particular now that some people were talking of
Do you want
wildcarding.
to
So
since it's the game week's frozen there? Do you want to
yeah,
give your team your wild card team a
if I
mention
can
there?
if I can remember it,
You can
I
still
put it
get
this
into your
way.
team. I think you can still get into your
No,
team.
no, I can't get into
I
anything there. I
have it
tried.
here for you, Dan.
I
So we'll
did.
see. You have
Yeah.
Ray and goal,
Yeah,
Gabriel Kirkes and Munoz from
yeah,
Crystal Palace. Then
yeah,
Sar, which I also brought in,
Yeah.
Palmer, Jacob
yeah.
Murphy, and Salah.
Palmer.
And Palmer,
It's a
yeah,
bold,
but
isn't it?
But
he's
I never
75%
dropped. I never
chance
got rid
playing.
of him. Yeah, yeah,
All
yeah,
right.
yeah.
Isaac, Marmouche, and Mateta, which I think is the same front line as you, Howard, is it?
Yeah, I like that. Dan's very similar. I have Pope and goal. I have Kirkaz, Gabriel. I've Abby Kush. I have Abby Kush. Abby Kush. Got him in. You know, he's going to do damage. The 4'5" man
He'll do
from
fucking damage.
Uzbekistan. 5 foot.
His own team.
I got Sar, Clivert, Salah. I got Saka in because I was going to need him for the next few. I was going to bring him in anyway. So Isaac, Mateta, and Marmouche. Yeah. I'm going to be doing
Yeah.
bench boost next week though, because need to get rid of that one, and then I still have my assistant manager chip to play.
There's a double week coming up for Crystal Palace Newcastle, isn't there?
Yeah,
Yeah, there's a
and
couple of double game weeks. Yeah, coming up.
couple of
So
them. Yeah.
yeah. So they basically Palace and Newcastle will both have double game weeks, and then the following week Arsenal. Oh,
City,
there's a number of teams. Yeah, there's a City. There's a good
Arsenal,
few that have them as
Arsenal,
well.
City, Villa as well. Arsenal, City, Villa.
Yeah, yeah. So there's quite a lot. So double game weeks will come up. So basically, all the chips that are left to be played will be played over the next couple of weeks. A lot of people have used their wild card. I can get into it here now anyway. So I can't even remember now what the points difference was. So Podrick Clark has a 16-point cushion
Oh,
moving
more than
into the
Liverpool
final
did.
few weeks. Yeah. So there's a it's very tight though. There's pretty much
Got
you could
very
argue
tight, Dan, isn't
the
it?
top
Alex
seven.
Coulter's creeping
Yeah,
up into fifth there. He's only what, eight
he's
points
looking to go
behind you?
back. Yeah, he's looking to go back to back. He's got on a good run as well. So it'll be very interesting now. Like with the wild card, what can happen there is, as you said there, like me and Howard seems quite similar. If you're planning ahead, a lot of people will have similar, and there might be two or three. You know, I think with Haaland, put it this way, with Haaland being out, if you had Haaland, you're probably putting in Marmouche now because you would have fancied that City were going to do well if you paid 14 and a half or whatever it was million to put Haaland into your team. And then there is the double game weeks, which a lot of people like myself like to try and target certain players for. Still the triple captain to play as well. So we'll see
And
how it goes.
Crystal Palace really starting to feature. Mateta is nearly in everyone the top three or four with
Double
Ismail
game week
Sarr
to see coming up.
and Munoz. They're nearly in
Yeah,
every single of the top five have them.
yeah. You see what happened there was as well. Like Wood, I don't know what his story is. Is he playing tonight? No, I don't know.
He's
Is
injured.
he?
No, he's injured.
Yeah, so he's one like say for example similar money to Mateta, and he's after getting injured, so he's another one that potentially now as well. I think they might have a few they might. I think he would have won. I think I put Brought Wood in a few weeks ago, and I don't think he scored since. So like, he might be on a bit of a drought. I'm not sure how much of a drought it is, but I think he might be on a small bit of a one anyway. And you're kind of looking at strikers like there's not that many. Joe Pedro was. I had him. I replaced him now. But there's not that many really. Arsenal don't have one at the moment. Chelsea don't have one. When
Yeah.
you look at it, it's
I'm
not
surprised
a
you. I'm surprised you got in Palmer though. Dan, I know he's already in your team, but I'm surprised you
no.
didn't. If he played your wild card, I wouldn't. I'm surprised you didn't take him out and put
Yeah,
in
well,
some
it's the
out.
fact that he's back in training, and I'm taking it that look, he's back in training. If he can recall, he get back to the way he was. He's worth having. The reason why I didn't
It's
go
a
for
it's
Saka
it's a
was
punt. It's a punt. Like could work out well for you because not
it's
many
well,
people will have him.
yeah, but I think he was one of the most taken out players there a week or two ago. But for me, you're bringing Saka in, and you're hoping that he's going to be up to speed, which he's not going to be. How many minutes he's going to play? But Saka won't play 90 minutes. So like we're bringing him in. You know what I mean? On the law of averages, he's not going to play 90 minutes. He's not starting tonight. Arteta said he was fit to start. A lot of people have brought him in on the back of that. He's not starting. So, for me, bringing in Saka potentially could be a punt because how long will it take him to go up to speed? You don't know.
Oh, you mean
Um,
you swap him over for Palmer? Like is that what you
no,
mean?
no, yeah, it's in like if Saka like start flying, I'm sure it's like Foden. Foden's another one there where like he's just gone off the fucking scale. But if Foden had come back and he's sort of form, you can argue like
Yeah.
City actually have a good run of games coming up. Sure, the midfield at the moment, you wouldn't know who to be putting in when you look at it. Like it's like you don't know who's going to play, and then half the lads that come in, like the likes of Doku or that, whatever, like you could go and do something one game and be tried for 5 games. It's kind of that's the way a lot of their midfield has been. Like, and actually, just one other thing, I don't know if he knows this weekend as well, but just on City, De Bruyne, he looks so slow. I don't know if you noticed that the weekend, like that. Just I don't know whatever it is, but he actually
To be
looks.
fair, his hamstrings are probably held together
I'd
by
say,
fucking twigs.
yeah,
Like,
It
Yeah.
just you're just looking at him going, this is a guy I think that's probably you can't see them giving him another bumper 300 plus grand a
Oh,
week
he's
and
out.
on the
He's
books,
out
can
the
you?
gap.
But
Yeah.
anyway,
and
yeah.
I think
So
this you're seeing the end of De Bruyne in the Premier League
yeah,
this season. Like,
I just one other thing on the fancy. I was going to say there. Yeah, so like obviously. The double game weeks are coming up. Bench boost, and as you mentioned, Howard, and as well, like that, like a lot of people will play that in one of the kind of double game weeks. And then some people haven't played their assistant managership, so that'll be an interesting one as well because you can get quite a lot of points if you take a few punts and they go your way in that as well. So there is a lot left to play for, and things can change. Between now and like there is a blank week coming up as well in 34 for a lot of teams as well. So as a
Have you
probably the
played your
best way,
bench boost then?
huh?
Have you played your bench boost?
No, I haven't played. I don't have a free hit though, so I'm under a small bit of pressure with game week 34 because I will have to I'll have to kind of keep a couple of transfers for that because a
Yeah,
lot of teams
yeah,
aren't
right.
playing that week.
And then you
Um,
have to get them back in.
Well, this is it. Well, yeah, it's all about planning. When you look at what's left, I suppose at least we kind of have a roadmap as to when most of the double game weeks. I think there's one more with that FA Cup. The FA Cup fixtures haven't been arranged for the them ones of where they're going to go. But besides that, you kind of know what you're left with. But again, like everything, you make your wild card now, and someone will go and do their fucking cruise shit tonight, and you'll be back. You could be back scraping around next week trying to who we're going to put in. So, but I know it's going to be an interesting end to the season anyway. Yeah.
well, we'll see who's going to get the jersey of their choice.
Just hope it's not my brother. Honestly, if I don't win it, grand. But if he goes and wins back to back like jerseys, like that's
Oh,
just
I'm
disgusting.
rooting for the poet. I'm not going to lie.
The poet.
So we'll jump on to our last segment, guys. Our predictions for Super Six. For those few of us who still remember to take part in it, Howard, unlike yourself,
yeah. Long gone from that.
opted out there halfway through. Yeah, things got busy. It easily happens. It's tough enough kind of call this week, I think. City, Leicester, Dan, first up. What do you reckon for that one's probably one of the easier ones?
Yeah, I'll tell you what I have here. Now, sorry, one sec. I have gone 3-0 City.
Training City. You're assuming that Leicester's inability to score is going to continue.
And do you know what? It's so annoying because I just every time I do City to win to nil, they always concede a fucking stupid goal. I can just imagine now on the break, fucking
Jamie
Bernard
Vardy,
or
go
someone
on,
just to do
Buonanotte.
something. But yeah, gone 3-0. Yeah, they should be winning that comfortably. You would imagine.
Howard, Newcastle, Brentford's a hard one to call. It is Newcastle at
Yeah, I
home.
think Brentford. You think they might or Newcastle might have a bit of a hangover, but I think at home they've been good. I'll go 2-1 Newcastle.
2-1 Newcastle. Hopefully Isaac on the double for my fantasy football and everyone else's, I would say.
Are you captain him?
Right.
Do you captain him?
No, I still went with Salah.
Salah, yeah, so did I.
I
Yeah.
went for Marmouche. Marmouche.
Yeah,
Oh,
as
Marmouche.
captain. That could good. To be fair, it could
He
could be
also
worth a
picked
lot to.
January a few weeks ago was his captain as well. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I got stick for that one, all right. That backfired.
Brighton and Villa, Dan. What do you reckon there? It's a hard one to call
Um,
as well.
yeah, I've
Villa
gone
way back at
Villa.
home.
Yeah, I've gone Villa to win 2-1. I just think they're a bit more solid. And again, as you mentioned there about that 120 minutes of football, good plays might be a small bit of a factor. And like just the signings that Villa have made there have just I think been a massive injection of pace and energy and attacking threat. So I've gone for them to win 2-1.
An easier call here, Howard. Bournemouth, Ipswich.
Oh, I go 3-0 Bournemouth.
Yeah, if Bournemouth could find the back of the net, they should be blitzing every team there. Their finishing has really let them down the last two games. Particularly that Spurs game where they were 2-0 up. They should have
Yeah.
ran away with it.
We got
But
Evan Nielsen's back, so they might have
yeah,
better hope.
bundling the goal over, ball into the net at the weekend. So Crystal Palace, Southampton. I've gone 2-0 Crystal Palace. They just seem to be really hitting their stride this time of the year, and Southampton are have nothing to really play for. And Dan, I'll leave it to you. I will get Howard's in on this one for the last one.
I've
Liverpool,
gone
Everton.
I've gone 2-0 to the Reds.
I'll go 1-0 Liverpool. Yeah,
Right.
I just
We're
I
not
can't see
we're
it.
not
I
throwing
can't.
any Hail Marys in the last one. So if you want to get €100 cold hard cash, guys,
Cold
try
hard
to get to the
cash.
top of the league. And keep your again. It's another Coulter dominated field as Richards on top, followed by Darren Mitchell and Evan Kearney in third place. But Alex Coulter again making another dash there. He's moved up into fourth place, overtaking you,
Yeah,
Dan.
he's Where I'm just looking at here. So me and Alex are on 375. Where are you? You're on two. Yeah, but
I'm
like
on three
literally,
six four.
yeah, 364. But like literally, all it takes is if you get two or three correct scores there over a week or two, and you fly up the table in this because they're so hard to come by, especially this year. I think more than any other year, it's been so fucking unpredictable. So like, you couldn't you can very quickly fly up there if it goes your way. But in fairness to Richard, like he's been there since the start, and even though people have come back at him. Like, I think loads of us were like 30, 40 points behind him at one stage. But like he's been there since the start, hasn't he? He's near enough to start, I think.
Yeah. He's been
Chipping
he's
away.
been he's been like Liverpool. He's been in the lead the whole way along. So we'll see if he can maintain it till the end.
Yeah.
Lads, any other business before we wrap it up?
No, I just hope we get the news of the Chargers soon. They said today on that fan debate, your man, what's his name again? That big financial, he's everywhere.
Stephen Borson.
Is that no? I think there's another guy. I don't think it's him.
I
Anyway,
can't remember what it is.
basically,
Oh,
anyway, there was rumor that he's on standby, is what you had said, and there was talk that it could be Friday or Monday. But he doesn't know whether or not it'll be verdict plus sanction or just verdict. He said if it's just verdict, it'll be horrendous because it'll just be a complete media storm until they work out what they're going to do with him. But he said that the only way that they'll go if they're found guilty is it'll be points. That's definitely what it'll be. It'll be a points deduction. And he reckons that if they were found to be guilty on the amount of charges that they have, that there should be quite a lot of points. He was suggesting there today. We'll wait.
well, we hope
Deck will have the candles lit anyway. It's Friday, so
Yeah, yeah.
Deck is all the holy
The,
candles lit. His
the only
rosary
thing
beads
that
out.
lure him, the only thing that lure him back onto this podcast is if they get a not guilty verdict. It's the only way you get him back on. I guarantee if that happens, he'll be straight back on.
Well, we'll have to wait and see for that one, lads. So thanks for joining us.
All
Continue
right.
to like and follow us on YouTube, Spotify, etc. And we'll catch you again next week.
Cheers,
Bye,
folks.
all right.
bye, lads.
Thanks, Moss.